nice of you.
That's real sweet.
I don't know why I'm talking like this.
So this story, Amy, this would be of particular interest to you. You are a CPS parent. You have two young gentlemen named Peyton and Eli for the purposes of the show.
Well, yeah, I'm
attending
more
CPS schools.
Assistant coach for girls basketball, 5th and 6th grade girls basketball. There can be no bigger honor than that.
Peyton and Eli shunted aside for the 6th grade girls basketball team. Duly noted.
Well, they wouldn't let me coach the boys. No, the boys' role slot was already taken.
So 6th grade girls basketball team you coach as well. Mm-hmm. This is over at the school named for a Catholic bigot.
Here we go.
James G. Blaine Elementary.
That's what it says. Catholic bigot. Welcome to Catholic bigot, James G.
Welcoming
Blaine
Catholic
Elementary.
bigot since 1963.
Stop it.
The
school's been around for 90 years.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's one of the number one top CPS schools.
So you're very active in your school.
Yeah, I used to be a lunchroom lady. So sit down.
Right. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
And you
the hairnet, and gloves,
the hairnets, the
lunchroom lady arms,
the ersatz mole that you had on just to look the part. So you volunteer, you coach, you do all those things. Other people want to do that too for their kids. This story, this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, the library lockout at our elementary school, Wall Street Journal, and it's about Chicago. It's about A.N. Pritzker Elementary. I wonder if the Pritzker family knows about this. They do now. And it's an op-ed written by a Chicago attorney named Michael Hendershot, who's got a 6-year-old daughter at Pritzker Elementary, A.N. Pritzker Elementary, one of 600 schools in CPS. Mm-hmm. His daughter enjoys reading, but she can't get books from the library right now because budget cuts, quote unquote, have meant that the Pritzker school librarian was laid off when parents volunteered to keep the library open by just running shifts, volunteer shifts. They received an admonishment from the teachers union. A formal complaint was filed, and a union representative appeared at the school and said that the union is not going to allow parental volunteers in the library. Well, why would the union be against parental volunteers in the library? To get an answer to that question, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Chicago attorney, Mike Hendershot. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you parents at the school here wanted to organize and make up the difference for the position that was vacant so that the library could stay open and kids like your daughter could access the books they want. And you're not allowed to do that. Why aren't you allowed to do that?
Well, I think the union's concern is that having parents volunteer in the library to check books in and out is replacing a reserved union position under the union's contract with CPS. So, in other words, the union's claim is that the library can only be staffed by a union member, and so parents checking books in and out essentially replaces that position with non-union members, and therefore, according to the union, it's not to be permitted.
But I thought it was all about the children, helping the children and shutting them out of the library because now it's being used for what, to teach dance classes?
Yeah, the library is currently being used for dance classes. It's really, I certainly think it's outrageous. The union would say that the reason for the issue is the budget cuts that led to the school losing the librarian. The union would also say that a union librarian offers much more than just checking books in and out. But I just don't think those arguments go very far. I mean, at the end of the day, CPS has a lot of problems. The librarian was cut. The librarian's not coming back. So the question is simply what can be done about it for the rest of this year. The parents had a solution that wasn't going to cost anybody any money, that was going to allow kids to at least keep getting books in and out, even though maybe not replace everything a librarian could do. And the union would rather have the library stay closed to make a larger point about the CPS budget issues, essentially demanding that the parents subordinate their children's own education in the interest of CPS maybe moving the needle, the union may be moving the needle a little bit to get slightly better funding from CPS. It's just hard to justify.
It seems like, the union, I don't think they're going far enough. I mean, just shutting down the library, people could sneak in and read. Maybe what they really should do is have a little book burning party in the yard and, just eliminate the temptations of, reading books.
Well, I certainly think they would say that their position is grounded in real concerns, which is wanting more funding to better help children overall within the CPS system. That's their stock line. But I think what we see here is that when push comes to shove, it's really the union is really most interested in job preservation for adults rather than furthering the interests of children. When those two interests come into conflict, it just really shows to me that things have really gone too far. I mean, it's just a total lack of common sense to say that these kids can't use their library because there's a larger budget dispute between.
Why can't you guys have a few bake sales and pay for the librarian's salary?
Well, a few bakes.
Ongoing
bake sale.
Yeah. Actually, that's an interesting point. I mean, another part of this is that Pritzker's historically been a really union-friendly school. The parents a few years ago raised tens of thousands of dollars to refurbish the library and to stock it with books in accordance with what the teachers organizations say was sort of standard modern best practices. So it's not even that the library is full of books and chairs, desks, et cetera, that are paid for by taxpayers. The Pritzker parents actually sort of built that library in a lot of ways. And so talk about raising money to sort of provide access to books. That's already been done. And those books are there, and the teachers union is not letting the kids access it. And I think it's, I would really draw a distinction between the teachers union and the teachers themselves. The teachers at Pritzker, in our experience, have been uniformly great. Our daughter loves it there, and I think a lot of them would privately admit to being uncomfortable with the position the union has taken. But the union, on the other hand, is a bureaucracy acting in its own interests, and I think that's how you end up with a situation like this.
Well, yes. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm sure that's true about the rank and file teachers at the school, but, that kind of private agreement where everybody whispers, boy, that just perpetuates the status quo, and it perpetuates this very interesting deal where a lot of parents at Pritzker are waking up to a reality that other people have known for a long time, that, how much is enough for the union? No such thing. How much more do you want? More. Always more. And, even something like with this parental volunteering thing, I assume this was a stopgap short-term solution, that parents weren't conceiving that this would be parents doing rotations for the entirety of their school, their children's matriculation at the Pritzker school. But even that is not sufficient, that this kind of stopgap measure of parental volunteerism. And so I wonder if there are parents, raising money, writing checks, doing all the things you've just described to refurbish and to stock the library, to try and be supportive, to try and play ball, to try and find common ground. I wonder if there's a little bit of being mugged by reality going on now among parents at the Pritzker School about just exactly what the Chicago Teachers Union really is.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was really an eye-opener for a lot of parents. And the thing that's interesting is, I think the union does a really effective job of sort of glossing over these kinds of issues. I remember when some of the parents first started talking about what happened here, a lot of the other parents just had no idea. They thought that, well, the librarian position got cut, and so the library's closed. They didn't realize that some other parents had come together and found a way to at least let students access books, and they were really stunned. And people have lives to live. They have jobs to work, kids to take care of. They're not hyper-focused on some of these issues like the union is, and the union has a lot of resources and a laser focus. And it's hard for people to sometimes know that these kind of things are going on. And that's part of why I thought it was important to make it known, because there's ongoing issues here with the CPS budget and the union, and I think it's important that people have a full picture of the kinds of things that are actually happening in the schools.
Absolutely,
it's a great article. So where do you guys go from here?
Well, the response to the article has been great. There's certainly a larger point in there about the issues with the schools here in the city. But for me, I'm the father of a young child who loves reading, and first and foremost, I want to get her and her classmates access to books again. And the response to the article has been great. I'm trying to work with some folks to try to figure out some solutions to get books available to these kids. Hopefully that will bear fruit. But in the meantime, again, the response has been great. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have surfaced this issue, and I think I'm optimistic that hopefully we move the needle a little bit, and we can help not only the kids at Pritzker to maybe fix the immediate situation, but also shine a light on some of these larger issues that go on with some of the positions that the union can sometimes take in the schools.
Fighting the union to get books to kids. Is there a better commentary on the Chicago public school system? Michael Hendershot, Chicago attorney and parent of a young woman at Pritzker.
First grade.
Well, that's a young woman.
A young girl.
Pritzker, okay, sorry.
Dan's not a parent yet.
Pritzker School, thank you for your commentary. I'm glad you didn't just kind of privately agree. I'm glad you took to the pages of the Wall Street Journal to raise this issue. Very well done. Thanks for joining us, Mike Hendershot. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.